Welcome back, and in this video we're going to cover some more good beginner goals after you've messed around with those in part 1. There are quite a few different options that you can look into. After mastering Runway Agent 24 without self-boosts, you can go for 23 with self-boosts. You can pick up Dam Agent and go for 54. You can play Bunker 1 Agent and go for 18. Or you could go for Archives Agent 17. Obviously, feel free to go a different direction, but this is what I suggest and what I'll go over in this vid, as I feel that these are really good beginner goal times and will really help you develop a lot of important skills that you'll need going forward into other levels. In addition, you're welcome to play multiple levels in rotation. Many active players do this. Don't feel like you need to dedicate all of your playtime just to one level, although you're also free to do that. I'm going to go over these 4 levels in the order that they appear in the game for simplicity's sake. This is by no means the suggested order to do them in. I've put the timestamps for each level in the description of the video if you want to jump forward to a particular one. So feel free to jump to whichever one you're interested in and come back to this vid as you approach the other levels. As I show you these sample runs, keep in mind that they're not perfect. In order to help you develop the ability to critique your own runs, after I go through each level, instead of giving a quick rundown of that level in real time as I did in part 1, I'm instead going to point out things that I did not do that well and which lost me time. Hopefully, doing this helps you pick out similar mistakes in your own runs, which is a very valuable skill to have. First, I'm going to cover the very first level in the game, Dam, on Agent difficulty going for 54. Do you remember how I talked about the importance of lines in an earlier vid? This is where it really counts. You'll need your lines to be nice and tight and get rid of that wobble as you set them. First things first, you're going to want to play the level on full screen. The extra render distance is handy on this level as it loads a guard earlier and helps open a gate faster, which we'll look at here in a minute. You'll want to cut both cinemas right away because if you watch too much of them, this truck will block your way and slow you down. If this cinema shows up, quit out and restart the level, as when you go up to the big brown gate, it won't be in the optimal position to get through quickly because the guard that opens it will already be through the gates and you'll have to wait for the first one to shut for the second one to open. You'll spend the first part of this level in left strafe, so as you start the level, make sure you are holding C up and C left. Set your first line to the corner of this barricade, short line to the bridge, then the next line to the corner of this barricade, then to the corner of this barricade, then to the corner of the tunnel. You'll want to use a decent amount of look down until right here, and then look neutral for a little bit. Take this corner tight past the guard, set a nice long line here, turn and set a new line to the button around here. You can hit B on the button from pretty far away, so practice doing that. You can start using look down again as you approach the button. The speed that this gate opens at is somewhat random and is part of the reason why we use full because of the guard behind it rendering earlier. Once you get yourself stuck in this little corner here, switch to right strafe and you'll hold this out until the end of the level. Make sure you're using look down here and cut your lines tight. You'll want to go just to the left of this guard as he runs this way. Your line should aim towards the middle of this gate here, and you can hit this B press from pretty far away as well. Turn to get through the gate as it's opening, and now look up and set yourself up for the lock shot. When I was first playing this level, I used a visual indicator of where the tip of the PP7 was on this wall to see if I had the right height to hit the lock. You'll want to hit Z to shoot shortly before you think you'll actually hit the lock because it takes a frame or two before it actually registers. Right after hitting the shot, you want to hit B to open the gate and do a quick little turn to get bombed through the gate as it opens. Immediately get up close to the wall of the dam, and here we suggest a bit of look up to lower lag. I generally try to keep my ammo count right here between these two rails. Take these little corners tight, be careful not to get caught up or rub against the wall here. I count each turn that I take so I know when to look down to get ready for the stairs. 1, 2, 3, 4, and look back down and get ready to clutch the stairs. On a good run, you're going to be nervous, but focus on cleanly getting up the stairs and off the dam for a nice clean 54. Now let's critique the full run. Right away, this first line isn't perfect. I wobble a little bit. This line's pretty solid. That line I took too tight and had to correct along with that line as well. You can see I corrected the line shortly after I turned the corner there. These are all minor time losses, but they add up. This is pretty okay. I hit the B press from very far away and get a nice fast gate. I take these lines a bit too wide. I could be a little bit closer to the wall. I rub up against that guard. That's partially his fault. I could have opened that sooner. I get stuck right there on the gate as I try to get through. The ending overall seems pretty clean. I take that a little wide, but that's generally not an issue. And there you have it, Dam 54. This was a very quick overview to get you started in the right direction. Wodah made an excellent tutorial for 53 and 54 that I've linked in the description if you'd like a more in-depth look at this level. Revisiting Runway Agent for 23 is pretty simple. Simply do everything that you did before, except now we're going to add self-boosts down the runway. Quick reminder, use widescreen, skip second cinema at least immediately, grab the nades, and this time around we're going to actually use them. Again, the only difference here is that now we'll be throwing nades at the ground as we run to the plane to self-boost. When throwing the nades to self-boost, you're going to want to look straight down at the ground with full look down. When you press Z with grenades equipped, you essentially pull the pin, however you can still hold on to the nade as long as you hold Z. The nades take about 4 to 5 seconds to blow up once you start holding Z, so I suggest developing your own head count where you count beats in your head or something, and then let go at the perfect time to get a nice boost. Getting this timing down just takes practice and experimentation to find what works for you. You should be able to boost yourself at least 3 times on your line to the plane and hopefully get a guard boost as well. With a clean run besides, this should net you a nice Runway 23. Again, I've linked Ogran's Runway Agent map in the description if you want to see this mapped out. Again, we're going to watch and critique the run. A little bit of a stuck going down the ramp. A little slow to get into the hut. Nice leave. Pretty solid line here. 1 boost. 2 boost. 3 boosts, that was probably a guard boost and a drone boost, and then into the plane. Pretty clean otherwise. The next level I'm going to cover is Bunker 1 Agent in 18 seconds. This one requires some luck and clean execution. You can play with whatever screen size you want here. Cut both cinemas, go into right strafe, and press B on this door almost as soon as you gain control of Bond. You can use a fair amount of look down here. Turn here in front of this guard and press B to open this door. Right after you hit B, press start to pause. You have a couple of options here. You can select unarmed and then camera, or just select camera. This will affect how you warp at the end of the level. There's going to be a second pause later in the level. You could also select unarmed then if you want, it really doesn't matter. Hit start again to unpause and go into left strafe. The guard will likely have boosted you past this box here, and the guard back to your right might have boosted you farther along still. At this corner, switch to right strafe and look up and get ready to hit Z right as you get past the bottom of these stairs. You should take a picture of the screen here, completing an objective. As you move towards the GoldenEye key, be careful of this platform sticking out and move over to the table with Boris and the key. There's several ways to play this, and I will show you 2 of them. Oftentimes, a guard behind you will boost you around the table, so you'll end up going behind the table, picking up the key, and maintaining right strafe. I'll show you the other strategy in a bit. Cut around the table and go towards the glass here. There will be at least 3 guards here potentially blocking your way and back boosting you. There's nothing you can do about it, it just comes down to luck. If you see a hole, you can try to squeeze through, move Bond into it, and then pause. If you don't see a hole, just pause right before the glass and hope you get boosted through by other guards. In the pause, select the key analyzer, and as you exit the pause, hold down Z until you hear the key analyzer sound start. Doing this will ensure that you start analyzing the key as soon as possible. Stay in right strafe here, and then get to the top of the stairs. This part goes by fast. You'll want to hit Z to throw the key and complete objective A, then hit B on the door and position yourself to warp out the crack in the door as it opens. After you throw the key, Bond automatically switches to either the PP7 if you didn't select unarmed in the pause, or unarmed if you did. You'll want to use this automatic switch to create the lag needed for an insane warp to get out. Using unarmed creates slightly more lag, but I always found it hard to time getting to the crack in the door because there wasn't a visual cue, but either one can be useful, so just use whatever you find comfortable. Again, this level mostly comes down to luck, but it's good for developing the mental fortitude that you might need later in your career. The other way to approach the table is to go in front of it. You want to aim yourself right at this corner to wedge yourself up against Boris and pick up the key, and then switch to left strafe. Left strafe towards the glass here, and again do exactly as you did in the other one, pausing the exact same way. Everything else about the ending is exactly the same, except instead of being in right strafe, you'll be in left strafe. Behind the table is a little bit easier to execute. Front of the table is a little bit harder, but you're able to see more clearly to see if there's any holes at the glass, and in general is considered the faster strategy. When going for 18, use whichever you prefer. Now we're going to watch both the behind the table 18 and the front of the table 18 and critique them a little bit. Pretty solid start, nice boost there. Another nice boost down the hallway, nice turn. That guard is a little bit in my way. I don't get a boost around the table, a little bit of a suck. That boost through the glass is insane. 2 more boosts out of the pause. Nice, super fast warp. Very fast ending on that one. So now the front of the table 18. Pretty solid start. No boost before the pause. Boost after the pause. I get stuck on the box there for an age. A late boost from that guard. Nice fast key pickup. A boost away from the table. Another boost as I get to the hallway. Another boost as I'm going into the pause. Another boost. And then a nice clean warp to finish it out. This last one is easily the hardest of the 4 times to achieve. It requires pretty solid OCB to get it, and is a good level for developing OCB in the first place. Most players like archives on wide. I got 16 on wide, but have since come to prefer full, so use whatever you feel is best. This is one of the levels where I would suggest that you play with auto aim off. Having auto aim off makes it easier to hit the window shots as you're leaving the level. This first room is where you'll probably end up spending the vast majority of your time here in Archives. It's very difficult to pull off quickly, but is oh so satisfying when you do. There are 2 common ways to do this first part of the level, and if done correctly, both are pretty much the same speed, so use whichever of the 2 you prefer. Either way, you're going to want to start the level holding C up, C left, and Z. You want to hold Z so that you slap the first guard as soon as you can. After getting past this table, you can go into right strafe to hit this guard, then switch to left strafe and open the door. Or, once you're past the table, you can turn towards the guard, C up, and aim at his left shoulder before turning quickly into left strafe and opening the door. Hitting the guard is easier with C up, but it makes the door harder to open and get through quickly. Strafing towards him makes the door much easier to open and get through, but is a bit harder to execute, so just practice and use whichever one works. This is an example of what a good C up start looks like. This is an example of what a good strafe start looks like. Both of these are perfectly viable as long as you're using 1.2. As soon as you hit the first guard, let go of Z and press A as you move past the door to switch to the DD44. Go into right strafe past this box, and you'll want to hold C left very shortly as you go up these stairs. Once you start going up the second part of the stairs, shoot 5 to 6 shots from the DD44 so that a guard will open this next door. This guard here can troll you, so get ready to move past him if need be. As you approach this next door, which should be open now and a guard should be standing on the other side, press A to switch to unarmed and warp through it if necessary. Once through, set your line to the middle of the double doors here and turn slightly as you get close to them to press B and open them from pretty far away so that you get through them cleanly. This area is what we call the library, and it requires very clean and tight turns and movement. Try not to rub against or get caught on anything. Move through like this and approach Nat's door. As you get close, press B to open it and switch to left strafe. Hopefully, Nat will see you as you go back through the library. Go back the same way that you came, except now in left strafe, and as you get through these doors, press A to pull back out the DD44. Get a nice neutral look position now, and as you turn this corner, let go of strafe and just C up at the window. It takes 4 shots to destroy this window here, and this is why I suggest you play the level without auto aim, so you don't accidentally target guards off to the side. If you manage to take out the window early, pop back into left strafe to save a bit of time as you go out the window and complete the level. Feel free to use a fair amount of lookdown for pretty much the entire level except for the very end. If you remember when I talked about lines and stucks, this level is huge on practicing avoiding stucks. Even the smallest little pauses add up over time and can cost you a run. This level will take a lot of practice, but you'll want to be able to crank 17s out pretty much every run by the time you're going for 16. So it's all about consistency and clean play. As with Dam, Wodah has a great tutorial for this one as well that I've linked in the description. It's focused mostly on getting 16, but has a lot of good detail that could prove helpful to you going for 17. So now we're going to critique the 17. I use the C up start, and I'm a little slow getting out the door there. Clean out into here, a little slow through the double doors, a little bit of a stuck there. Nice turn out into here. Pretty clean ending. And ta-da! Archives Agent in 17 seconds. So, after watching these first 7 vids, you have a lot of stuff to go off of. These vids cover more than enough information for you to really start playing the game and working towards some nice goal times and developing your OCB. There are 3 more parts to this series where I'll go over some other techniques and give some more broad advice. Due to the way I've set up this video series, I highly recommend playing for a while and getting some of these goal times before coming back and watching 8, 9, and 10. In part 8, I will go over advanced techniques and various playstyles. In part 9, I will cover version differences and the next steps as you continue playing the games. And part 10 will be a large collection of advice I've gathered from various active players and past players, as well as the credits for the entire series. So, good luck on the runs, and as always, feel free to reach out in the Discord or forums for more advice and feedback.